Yeah, you look good. Okay. Hi, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Identity and Motherhood. And today I get to have my own mom and my auntie Macara. And for those who don't know, my name is Jasmine. Do you guys want to introduce yourselves?
My name is Mary.
And I'm Macara.
Okay, so today we're going to be talking about um, just their journeys as teen moms, and how it may have affected their identity, how it may have improved their identity as a mom. And as we go through, if we talk about, or as we talk about, our faith, our relationship with Jesus, it is strictly our own beliefs and is a reflection of nobody else. Um, so why don't you, either one of you can start. How did you even come to pick mine and Akila's name?
You go first, sis.
Okay. Well, I feel like when it was 1998, and so Michaela was a very popular name. So it was down to two names, Michaela or this name I had heard from somebody I played basketball against, and her name was Akila. And once I kept saying it to myself, it was just more unique than Michaela, and it also had a good meaning, which is intelligent in Arabic. So I went with that one.
Okay.
Mine is way less intense than that. Um, um, Mine is actually quite simple. Growing up, I loved Aladdin, and I always said, and even had journaled that my first daughter's name would be Jasmine, like Princess Jasmine.
Aww.
Okay, so Makara, you stopped at Akila. Mom, you had Rudy and Cadiz. How did you choose their names?
Really?
Okay, you don't have to share the last one. How did you pick
You want it
Cadiz?
recorded? Um, so Garis's name is Hebrew, and it means graceful. And I chose her name that way because God showed me that she would be beautiful and graceful, and that He would use that grace to change lives and change the world. Um, and if those for those of you that know my Caris, she is extremely graceful by nature. So her name was definitely God given as well. And the last one I made it up, and we'll end there.
We'll leave it at that. So in choosing like our names and just like in the lifetime that you were in, like in the moments in life that you guys were in, what were kind of like your first thoughts when you found out you guys were pregnant in high school?
I'll go
Shocked, I
first.
think, is all the initial feeling. Like, huh? But a lot of weight on my shoulders and responsibility because parenting is a lot of work and it's like, the most serious job you can have ever. So, but also with that came a motivation, to be better and to be a good role model for my daughter.
Absolutely. My first thoughts were that I was going to die because of the father that I have and the papa that you have. Once we got over the shock and the disappointment, I'll say, um, and everyone else's opinion, um, then I had the same ideas as Macara, just to, I was very determined to make sure that nor myself nor you were a statistic and became part of the statistic.
Mhm.
And those were my thoughts, consistently.
Yeah.
What do I do to make sure that you're not a statistic?
So were those kind of just like your first thoughts of yourself as well afterward, of like making sure you weren't a statistic?
I
Yeah,
for
I
me,
agree with.
mhm,
Go
mhm.
ahead, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, absolutely, because initially, especially coming from a Christian family, um, at first you feel unworthy. Like I said, you feel like you're a disappointment, and all glory to God. The Holy Spirit made sure that I knew without a shadow of a doubt that I was still the daughter of the Most High God, and I was still able to fulfill the work that God had in me. And that's what pushed me not to become a statistic was God.
And you, Macara?
Yeah, for
What were
sure.
your first thoughts of yourself?
Yeah, thoughts on myself. It's like I don't really remember thinking of
Mm,
myself in that moment because it was just, what am I gonna do? My whole world now is raising this human, and I'm responsible for
Mhm.
teaching her everything that she needs to know, and that's just a lot. But I just remember a lot of people that I felt knew me well, like administrators in high
mm,
school, and just other adults that I kind of looked up to when they had negative comments or didn't feel like I would still be successful because I had a child. That was
mm-hmm.
kind of like my drive to, like I said, just
Mhm.
make self improvements to finish high school with honors, to go on to college and get my degree, and like you
Yeah,
said, make sure my child has the best life so she's not a statistic. So
yeah.
Mhm.
And so, like, so you guys were able to stay on campus versus having to go to Somerset, which is kind of like an automatic now. Like, they don't even
yeah.
allow moms to stay at the regular high schools. And so you guys both touched on like taking like your mindset and making sure that it was like steadfast. And so how did you do you guys remember how you even balanced like keeping that steadfast mindset or like your zen to like finish through?
What do you think, Makara?
um I think, like I said, it was just that drive that I had, that it just was there was no other option for me. Like, I
Mhm.
knew college, I knew, um even though there was hurdles and it wasn't always easy, and especially financially, that's a big part of being a parent. You need money, to
Mhm.
babies.
Yeah.
Mhm.
um just with that part, it's like you just got to do what you got to do, and like you said, keep that faith and know that God is always going to make a way, and he will provide
Mhm.
regardless.
Yeah.
So on that note, I think, and Makara would concur, that we had an amazing community. We
Mm-hmm.
had amazing moms that came alongside of us,
Mm-hmm.
without us even asking, and co-parented with us. I think I can call it that.
Okay.
Became grandmothers to our girls willingly, effortlessly, with open hearts. Um, and for me, I'm just so grateful for all of those women that took us in as their family and helped us with our girls and helped us to reach those goals that we ultimately wanted
Mhm.
to complete.
Yep.
So I
Definitely.
just I want to thank our community. Our community had a very large impact in us being successful moms at that age.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so were you gonna say something?
I
Were
was
you
just
gonna
gonna
add?
say, couldn't have did it without him. Couldn't have did it without him.
Hmm.
Definitely.
Right.
So is it safe to say that like without that support, like you wouldn't have been able to like get through or would have been harder to get through like that time of your life?
For sure. No doubt about it.
Hmm.
And so what did that support change like throughout the years? Not necessarily like with the people but like the different like the different ways in which they provided support. Like did that change throughout the years? And if so, like how?
I think it stayed pretty consistent, to tell you the truth. The people that were in Akila's life as a child are still in her life today. We can call them and depend on them for anything to come through
Mm-hmm.
whenever.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's been consistent, thank God, throughout the last 24 years.
Yes. I agree. I think friends stopped being friends and became family.
Mm.
Um, forever families, and so I agree. I think as you girls went into school,
Mhm.
we needed the support less, and
Mm.
the support became guidance. Um, More guidance versus support. So I think in that sense, the support shifted as far as um, like the physical, because you girls were in school,
Yeah.
full time, so that helped a lot.
Yeah.
But as far as them being there, as Macara said, they're still here till today, thank goodness.
Yeah. And like we
Can
went to school
I
together.
can
Yeah, go ahead.
add to that and say that I noticed once she got older, the things that she would normally feel comfortable talking to me about, now she was more comfortable talking to them about, or,
Mm.
about a different topic.
Mhm.
She can go to
Mm-hmm.
them if she couldn't go to me, or. So
Yeah.
I felt like it was
Yes.
a different level of support as she got older.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And so like we did go to school together and like you guys took us to school together. We got picked up together. So how vital would you say your guys' sisterhood through parenting was? Like, like you guys stay together even though I'll call it the group didn't stay together, if you get what I'm trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, like how vital were you two staying together?
That's what kept us together, is you guys were like neck and neck and at the same school, and it kind of just worked out to where her schedule was one way, mine was the other, and so we worked together just to, like you said, pick up one you guys or drop off you guys, and um, we were able to discuss, personal things we were going through, maybe challenges we were facing, and when you're able to talk about it, that's like a big release. That's like,
Mm.
getting through some of that stress. It's a way to cope. And I'm so grateful that I had that.
Me too. Me too. And I loved you guys being able to share clothes, share shoes.
Yeah.
It was so easy for somebody to say pick up Jasmine and nobody be in a rush because you know you could grab Akila's clothes if need be and vice versa. If Akila needed to be picked up and stay, it all worked out. So we were able to be there for each other in emergency cases as well. But I think our friendship was vital because, like she said, you guys were so close, but it just made everything so much easier because
Mhm.
then we made the group of we made our group of grandparents, if you would, even bigger
Mm.
because if whatever group of grandparents was picking up, it
Yeah.
was for both. Whatever group of grandparents were babysitting, it could have been for both.
Mhm.
So it just
Mhm.
widened our support group, and we knew that. We knew that we needed each other's support.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so once you guys like so you guys not only were you guys teen moms, but then you guys became single moms. And so you guys just touched on like us going to the different grandparents' house. How um like how did you guys uh, successfully transition into like the single motherhood and getting the support of the different grandparents in the separated households and that whole nine?
I won't say it was a successful transition at first. 'Cause, during that time where you guys were growing, like we're growing as well. We're growing as
Mhm.
women, and just going through our own experiences, and like we said before, we had a lot of help, and I did have joint custody with her dad, and so the time that she was there, like that was my time to do me. And so, like I said, it didn't go so well initially, but once I got into my 30s and realized, more of what I want my legacy to be, and
Mm.
just what my purpose is, then that's when I started making better decisions and better,
Mm.
handling my single parenting. So, but that
Okay.
going back and forth was definitely a struggle and probably one of the most difficult challenges that I've had as being a single
Mm.
parent. Watching her go back and forth and basically having to check in with her to discuss, what's going on over there, making sure that she's all good. Because, like I said, that's my job as a protector. And if I'm not able to protect you, even when you're not with me, then I feel like I'm not successful. So I feel like
Mm.
that was a big challenge.
I agree a lot with the last part that you said. Is um, for me, I didn't have a huge transition. Um, so I would say the back and forth that Jasmine did have, the relationship with her grandmother was vital in making sure that that back and forth went smoothly,
Mhm.
and that it even happened. And my household, my parents and I worked very, very hard to make sure that no matter what type of back and forth Jasmine had, that she knew who she was, because I didn't want her to be confused at all. Um, am I a part of this family or am I a part of that family? Because I think they dealt with that a little bit. Um, so that was one of the difficulties with co-parenting, um, or share parenting is like I what I like to call it. It's not easy. It's not easy when you have ideas of how you want your children to grow up,
Yes. Mhm.
and then you're having to share them and release them fully to a whole another household. It's not easy, but I think we got through it.
It's
Yeah.
funny that you say that it's not easy, because a lot of your guys' friends that knew you were high school and like grew up with you have literally said, like in conversations with them, like that you guys have made it look easy. Like Peachy shared with me as I was pregnant with Damien, like not all moms are happy once they have their baby. Like your mom and Macara made that mess look easy. Like it's okay if you're not happy after you have your baby. So how did you guys? And so Macara, you said that you used that time, when Akila was with her dad, to like self reflect and to better yourself. How else? How else did you guys balance your individuality, um, alongside with working double shifts and, um, just being a new young mom?
The balance, right? That's, I think, the biggest part in life is finding balance in everything. So, like I said, when Keela wasn't there, that was my time to do me, so I can get rest if I was tired. Yeah, I had to work after I became a single parent, but I felt
Mm.
like I still made certain sacrifices where I didn't have to work, during a certain time, or if I did, she had somebody that I could depend on to watch her if she wasn't with her dad. So that, made things a little easier for me. On top of she was so well behaved and you were so well behaved, like I didn't have any challenges at school really. No legal issues. So that made it easy. But I think just having goals for myself and a vision for what I wanted my life to look like, that's what made it a little easier for me.
Yeah, that's good. I like that. And I feel like there's a lot of moms from my previous job that I had that if they were like barely like coming out of their teens or still in their early 20s are like, oh well, I don't know, or like they felt like they had to like stop what they were doing in order to care for their baby. And it's like, no, you don't have to stop what you're doing. Like you could shift gears or like shift careers, but like I feel like as moms, we should still have goals for ourselves as individuals along with our goals for our
Oh
kids.
yeah, don't stop. Don't just because a challenge comes along or a baby comes along that you may not expect or maybe you did want, but it's like don't put all your dreams aside. You might have to put them on pause, but for sure, don't give up on them.
Yeah. What about you? How did you balance your individuality with motherhood?
Um, I think it was difficult because it was I became Jasmine's mom, and Jazzo did this and did softball, and Jazzo was always involved in something. So I think I lost myself for
Mm,
some time, um, being Jazzo's mom.
mhm,
Um, Again, I'm grateful for my mom and dad that they would take you with them, whether it was on vacation or did things with you to give me time to myself. Um, but I was so in love with being a mom and with being Jazzo's mom that I didn't make the time for balance, as you would call it. It was, I thought that's all that I was supposed to be was Jazzo's mom.
mm,
And I put Mary on the back burner for a really, really long time.
mhm.
Um, until finally I realized that I can't just be Jazzo's mom. I have to know who Mary wants to be,
Mhm.
and go for those goals, and reach for the stars that Mary wants to be, and not just focus on Jazzo and things like that.
Yeah.
So I did. I feel like I did lose myself for some time
Mm.
trying to make sure that your needs were met. I neglected myself for some time, but I came around.
So you both touched on. We'll go back to that. But you both touched on how Akila and I were good kids. What were some of the expectations and rules that you guys set for us, and were any of them based on your own experiences as young mothers?
I was big on honesty. Like I'm like, you better keep it real. I don't care what's going on. So I feel like that's how my mom expected me to behave. So I definitely expected the same in return as well as respect.
Mm,
Talking back, that's like not okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I think those are two big things that I instilled in her for sure that I wanted her to carry on through her adulthood.
yeah.
And for us, they were the same. I think her and I had the same goals and expectations for you and Akila. You know, was to
Yeah.
be and to work. I think we both expected you guys to work hard too, like on whatever
Mm,
you wanted to do.
mhm.
Um, to work hard
Yeah.
at it. Like, don't do anything halfway. So that was another one as well.
And
Do more.
especially during while you're a child, it's like your only responsibility is to go to school and get your
Right.
and focus. So that, of course, is at the top of the list as well.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
But I think we did a good job, Mary, where we put them,
I
the
think so
school they were in,
too.
make sure there was top
Look at
notch
look at
education.
right. Here mine is doing a what is this called?
A
A
podcast.
podcast.
Right, right?
And torturing me through
Exactly.
So other than you guys being grandmas,
it. Oh goodness.
what are some of the things that we did that affirmed you guys throughout your years of single motherhood?
Well, I remember Keela telling me one time she came home from hanging out at the mall with her friends in high school, and she said, you know what they say at the mom? I said, what? She said, they were stealing stuff and they wanted me to do it too. But I looked at them and I said, if my mama caught me, I would be in so much. So just the fact that she knew, don't try me,
Yeah.
don't try that. I don't play.
Yeah.
Let me know that I'm, on top of just the fact that she was socially well rounded, academically she was solid, and so when everything's looking good, then I must be doing all right. Pat myself on the back.
Yeah. Yes. Um, Jasmine had a couple situations like that too, but the one that mainly for me was when I went to visit her up at East Bay, and we went to a theater play show
Oh.
thingamajigger,
Uh-huh.
and a mother that that was like part of the play, like she worked there, whatnot, but she knew my daughter, and her and her husband actually took Jasmine under their wing while she was up north. And
Mhm.
the lady came to me and said, I am so excited to meet you. Your daughter represents you well. I felt like fully accomplished that a complete total stranger would um, come out of her way to come and tell me that my daughter represents me well. Any mom wants to hear. She didn't say my daughter's a good girl. She didn't say my daughter does a good job. She said your daughter represents you well. I was done with that.
That's the
um.
ultimate, right? Because that's like our
Yes.
goal in life is to be a good
Yes.
parent, especially being that young. And it's like we gotta do this thing right.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. And so, as being moms, or sorry, well, moms, but now grandmas to two brown and black boys, and then there's Nova, right? Nova,
Yep.
your granddaughter. Okay, I was
Yeah.
like, I don't know why I felt like that was wrong, but I knew that was her name. Um,
I call her
are there
Missy.
are there things um that you guys would want to see instilled in our boys?
Definitely some chivalry. I feel like
Mm,
don't forget how to treat a woman.
Mm-hmm.
Like don't forget how to provide for a woman. That's part of the responsibility as a man. But
Mm-hmm.
also help your mother because she needs help. She got two
Yes.
kids under two. She's gonna make
Akila does. Akila does.
help, help your mom for sure. And when it comes to relationships, just take your time, get to know yourself first. Because if we have the option, obviously that's the more ideal situation. But that, I don't know. I just picture him being so good.
He is. He's the cutest. I will never forget when I went out there for his birthday and I was helping Akila make the tacos, and she was asking if he was all done. And she was like, "Are you all done?" And then her and I just coincidentally simultaneously did the baby sign language, all done. And
Oh yeah.
he was
I,
so upset that I knew it. He was like, how did you know that?" He was so mad.
I do remember that.
What about you? Is there things that you want to
Um,
see instilled in
for
Damien?
me, my main goal is that he's a God fearing man,
Mm,
because I know that if he is a God fearing man and guided by the Holy Spirit, there's nothing for me to worry about.
yeah. Okay, so I want to get us out this cold. Um, so is there any advice that you guys have for the teen mom that just found out she's pregnant and is like freaking out, thinking that her life is over?
Oh yeah.
I would
For sure.
say,
Like, oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, keep going. Don't quit. You can do this, even though it looks like your world is ending. And create a circle. Create a circle, build a community. There's a lot of resources out there that are not necessarily talked about, that are available for you. There's a lot of financial resources available from the government, as well as counseling. There's assistance in the church that they'll come alongside you and help you as well.
I know it's called Duke. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Macara.
I definitely, on top of that, just want to say utilize all those resources because you definitely need all the help that you can get. Another thing is pray, pray, pray for strength to get through it all. And what we didn't have back then was social media. So I feel like there's a lot
Mm,
more social circles, like you said, or support
Yes.
that you can reach out to. And even when you're having a hard time with parenting, you can Google some stuff and, do some
Yes.
research that way. And I feel like that's
Mm-hmm.
a lot easier for, you to um, reach out to or use as a resource versus what we had to do back in the day, which is just rely on what mama said and auntie said and
Right.
godparents
Yes.
said. But definitely, yeah, you utilize all that support that you can get.
thank you, ladies, for your time tonight. Thank you, Duke, for hanging in there. I know it's
Say I
cold.
made it.
My hands are
Yay!
freezing. um,
The temperature dropped drastically
yeah,
this
really
weekend.
quick. Are you guys okay with me praying us out?
Yes.
With
Me praying out, like
oh
praying to
yes,
end. Okay.
of course.
Um, God, I praise you and I thank you for our time together. I thank you for the community that we have, that we've created. I thank you for the lives that we're going to be able to touch through this video. I pray that you are able to supply them with love and support that they need. Thank you for the love and support that we have received as mothers, as individuals. And I pray that you continue to just keep us safe throughout our days. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
All right.
Amen.
Oops.
Thank you for having
Bye.
me.
No
Thank you so
problem.
much
Bye.
for your time. Love you. Bye.
Bye.
Love you too.